welcome Dr. Manuja Pereira, Deputy Director and Editor, Center for Combating Tobacco, who will speak about WHO FCTC Article 5.3 implementation in South Asia, gaps, successes, challenges, and lessons learned. Dr. Pereira.
Thank you, Sonam. Good evening and Aibuan. This is basically a summary of our report and hopefully a stimulation to the discussion that would follow. As a region, we host approximately a quarter of the world's population, and we are all parties of the Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, and some of us are among the very first signatories of the FCTC. We do have empower strategies in place. We do have data to monitor. We have smoking banned in public places. We have offered help to quit. We have graphic health warnings. We have tax bans. We do have tobacco tax. However, they are not optimal, and tobacco is still remaining a burden in our region. Why? I would like to take two case scenarios related to the most important to empower strategies to explain this situation. Except for Bhutan and Bangladesh, none of us have the recommended tax percentage by the World Health Organization, the most powerful strategy to reduce demand for tobacco products. Even when we have these high percentages, even the other countries who are closer to this recommended percentage, we have to realize that this percentage is, it depends on the denominator, and still our tobacco products remain relatively cheap compared to the rest of the world, thus making it more affordable and increasing the demand. The other point we would like to highlight is none of us actually have the figure to data to calculate this figure, actually gauge this situation, because we as citizens and we as the general public and other tobacco stakeholders do not have access to actual data that would help us to see whether the tobacco products are taxed optimally, and whether it matches the affordability and other scientific criteria, because we do not have scientific, technical, transparent systems in place. I would like to further highlight this issue with a case study that we have investigated at CCT. We have published this as a post series in our website, Tobacco Unmasked, celebrating the World No Tobacco Day this year. This was a classic example on how empower strategies in place are hindered without effective implementation of FCTC Article 5.3. An area distributor of Ceylon Tobacco, the British American tobacco subsidiary in Sri Lanka, gets a loan from a state-owned bank in Sri Lanka, which is also among the top 20 investors of Ceylon Tobacco. This was to stockpile cigarettes, anticipating a tax hike with the next budget. That tax hike actually never happened. However, this issue was raised in the parliament, and the government actually justified it, saying that they are just facilitating a legal enterprise. This clearly shows how industry partners mislead our leaders and government officials to stand on their side, even when there is obvious direct economic harm to the government itself. It doesn't end there. CCT wrote to the bank, because it's a government entity, we used the Right to Information Act and wrote to the bank asking for the details of this loan. And after rejections, appeals, reappeals, and after 3 long months later, they sent this final letter rejecting our request, saying that the third party, their partner, the tobacco industry, didn't give them permission to share this information. Thus, I am pretty sure the gaps The impact of the gaps in FCTC Article 5.3 in this situation is obvious to you all in this scenario. Even in the presence of a Right to Information Act, transparency of interactions with the tobacco industry or its partners is not ensured. And of course, the investment in the tobacco industry leading to conflicts of interest and not rejecting the partnerships and not accepting the fundamental conflict of interest are also evident in this case study. You can see more details of this case study in our Tobacco Unmasked page series. As the next example, I would like to take banning tobacco advertisements, promotions, and sponsorships. Again, the other most effective Empower strategy to reduce demand. All of us in South Asia, all of our countries have tax bans, and we do talk about them. We do present them in international forums. However, the status of implementation is questionable. We at SARC-CCT have been monitoring tobacco industry interference during COVID-19 globally with a special focus on South Asia. We have published this as findings as a series of pages in our Tobacco Unmasked South.Asia website, and you can visit that and see the details. We observed tax ban violations from each and every country in the region during the pandemic in different forms at different levels. And the role of the industry in the violations and opportunities provided because of the inadequate implementation of FCTC Article 5.3 were quite obvious. The case we aim to present to you, I suppose, is now clear to you. This is where the problem lies. We monitor, but we don't have the power to act. None of our countries have comprehensive reference to Article 5.3 in our national laws. Maldives lead the region in legislation and Nepal incorporates it briefly. None others do. None of us have national level policies, no codes of conduct, except again for Maldives, who is almost at the verge of implementing one. Bangladesh had finished drafting, but the implementation is not in sight. Sri Lanka has a national policy guidelines which is yet to be implemented. Nepal and Pakistan, with their strategy and action plan, have taken the first steps of implementation, being an example to the region. India is trying out a bottom-up approach, which I would discuss in detail later. So what can we do to improve our situation? Looking at our regional context, I would like to highlight three main lessons we have learned during this learning exercise. The only aspect of Article 5.3 we are currently in par with the recommendation is monitoring tobacco industry interference. This is especially because of the strong presence of civil society organizations who have years of experience in doing it. Some of these civil society organizations are also trying their best to counteract the interference of the tobacco industry too, even amidst a non-supportive policy environment. This also shows the opportunity for us to act, giving the public and the civil society organizations more access to information by ensuring transparency of interactions and, of course, laying down the expected standards as recommended by the FCTC Article 5.3. The learnings of the individuals, networks, and civil society organizations will also be useful in this process of policy development and implementation, and they can be effectively incorporated in these processes. Lesson 2 is the bottoms-up approach. India is currently the greatest example in the region in convincing subnational, legal, and administrative entities such as states or other smaller jurisdictions to incorporate FCTC Article 5.3 within their territories. There are, of course, still challenges. There are difficulties in scaling up, driven by, again, industry interference and the flaws in the system, such as corruption and inadequate resources. However, it is a start in developing immunity against the tobacco industry interference, and we are seeing results. Lesson 3 is I think, unique to our region because we have seen many examples from our region in which policymakers and stakeholders, even civil society organizations and general public, have tried to manage with what is existing or from a level they can initiate a policy process. For example, the national policy guidelines in Sri Lanka relies heavily on the already available establishment code for the government officers, which governs the conduct of all the government employees. Nepal and Pakistan has a strategy and action plan, which would definitely be the foundation for future policy level and other actions. Even though these may not lead to optimal outcomes as having a national policy directive, we have observed that they do help in developing immunity against this evil that make our populations unhealthy, less productive, and economically deprived. Thank you. And on behalf of the CCT team, I would like to specifically acknowledge and appreciate the contribution made by our SARC CCT Fellows of 2021 in developing this report and the presentation, and our SARC CCT committee and SARC TAC members for their continuous support during the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Manuja Pereira, for a comprehensive talk on the Article 5.3 implementation in South Asia. Using the Empower and other strategies to measure implementation, indeed, there is a lot to do and get done, not just in the region, but globally. Now we have a video compilation of brief messages by policymakers from South Asia, sharing their perspective and declaration of commitments on combating tobacco industry influence.